That evening changed my life. Pushing that door changed my human existence. Ever since we moved to the three-story building, I've never seen that door being used by anyone in the house. My brother and I would peep through the keyhole only to see nothing. My dad gave us crossed warning, "Stay away," I remembered him yelling. He also made us swear to never go close to that door, which was strange, but as kids, we did anyway. In fact, after that day, our curiosity grew, but my interest in the wooden door died 13 years ago when Max was kidnapped. Every attempt to rescue my brother seemed abortive, even though my dad was a top politician in our society. Max's kidnappers didn't ask for ransom. They didn't contact my parent, and this worsened the situation. All we knew was he never came home from school. A few months later, the unrecognizable body of Max was found. All his vital organs were missing, and his face was burnt. Mom could only identify the body through a birth scar on his leg. My parent refused to run tests to confirm the identity of the body. According to my father, the dead needed to rest. Few hours later, my brother was buried. Dad became a shadow of himself. Mom went into a silent form of depression. I became a quiet loner. My best friend was gone, and the house became empty. It was now a playground where my voice echoed with no response. My interest in Dad's door returned 2 days ago. Mom had gone to visit her sister, and Dad was at work. He was due to be home in 30 minutes. I had just returned from school and was trying to fix a loose knot in my drawer. As I passed by the door, heading to pick the toolbox from the basement, I heard a sound. It was low, like a sob. Frozen, I turned as if noticing the door for the first time in ages. "Hello?" I heard nothing. Aside from the gateman, I was alone in the building. It was only my imagination, I recall telling myself as I focused back on my phone and jogged down the stairs. Now, heading to my room with the toolbox, I glanced at the door. There was nothing. Of course, there was nothing. I was just being paranoid. But as I tried convincing myself, I heard it again, a sob. It was followed by a low knock on something. "Hello?" I called, moving closer to the door. The bang repeated, this time weaker. "Is there someone there?" And there it was again. I hurriedly turned the knob. The door was locked. I pressed my ears to the door, hoping I would be able to identify the source of the sound. Someone or something was in there. I peeped through the keyhole. All I could see was total darkness. "Let it go, Favor," a part of me warned. "Please let it be." I wished I had listened. I wished I had remained in the dark where I was safe and unaware of the things that I knew now. Without thinking, I picked a hammer from the toolbox and drove it on the door handle like a madwoman. 1, 2, 3, I hammered, counting inwardly as the iron knob bends. Who was in there? What was my father hiding? The door creaked, and I pushed it further, peeping into the room as the handle dropped. "Hello?" I called, fumbling with a light switch. The room glowed, hurting my eyes, which instantly widened as it landed on the naked figure on the floor. I remained paralyzed for seconds, watching as he knocked on the walls. I noticed he was tied with a red material on his hands and legs. Mini-sized calabash surrounded him as the room thickened with smoke, but I couldn't identify its source. It was a scene I only saw in scary movies. The figure turned, eyes red, lips dry. He looked lost. I was shocked, in a state of fear. And ever since that moment, my fear has grown worse. I remember the way he looked at me as if he could recall nothing. How could he remember? It has been 13 years and 4 months since media outlets announced his disappearance. Max looked away and continued with the knocking on the walls. "Max!" My voice shook. He knocked. "Max!" He turned back and whispered, "Leave now." "No, we leave together." He shook his head furiously. Why was he here? I moved closer. Max hugged the wall. Who was the dead body we buried? What was my dad doing to my brother? Was I supposed to call the cops on my father? Yes, those were the questions racing in my chest. And as they did, I decided to untie my brother. Go, 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 he kept whispering, battling to be left in his state. I didn't understand why, but now I do. As I struggled with the robe, the light went off. It was followed by a loud bang. I veered around sharply. The door was shut. My brother burst into laughter, which slowly turned into a sob. I told you to leave, he whispered as a cold breeze rested only on my neck. I tried to stand, but noticed it was impossible. Max was back to knocking on the wall. No, I blinked, feeling panic in my chest as my eyes adjusted to the darkness. And as they did, all I could see was him, my father, in a red robe, chanting ancient words as he sprinkles what I believe was blood on me. I've cried and begged for someone, anyone to help us, but we are still here, locked up, hungry, unable to move, exhausted and terrified. I have tried starting a conversation with Max, but the only words my brother has uttered repeatedly this past few days are, I told you to go.